This is Captain Beefheart. Don Van Vliet, born Don Glenn Villett in 1941, he died in 2010. He was an American singer, songwriter, musician, and visual artist. He fronted a rotating ensemble called the Magic Band, which was active between 1964 and 1982. He released 13 studio LPs, had a cult following of his music, seen as highly influential over several genres. There is no single genre that can describe his work. He combined absurdist lyrics with blues, jazz, and avant-garde, the best description I can provide. He made his friend Frank Zappa's music seem tame. He released his first LP, Safe as Milk, in 1967 on Buddha Records. He would sign with Zappa's Straight Records and release Trout Mask Replica, which would go on to be number 58 on Rolling Stone magazine's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time list, and is still as fresh today as it was when it was swimming around. Born in Glendale, California, the fourth largest city in Los Angeles County, he began painting and sculpting at age 3. He drew and molded fish, dinosaurs, lions, and lemurs. Precocious? His childhood home was close to the LA Zoo in Griffith Park. His parents did not want him to pursue an art occupation. He said they told him that artists were queer. He pursued art anyway. When he was 13, he moved with his parents to Lancaster, California, near the Mojave Desert and Edwards Air Force Base. The environment stimulated him more and would influence his artwork lifelong. He pored over Delta blues music, Son House, Robert Johnson, jazz too, Ornette Coleman, John Coltrane, Thelonious Monk, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf. Van Vliet met Zappa when the latter was a drummer for the Blackouts. Zappa liked Van Vliet's singing. He recorded a version of the song Lost in the Whirlpool. They would hang in his room listening to music. He liked to drink Pepsi. He left high school in his senior year to help his family when his dad had a heart attack, but he told everyone that he never attended school at all. Zappa bought a studio for recording his muse, and this included Van Vliet. Zappa wrote a screenplay for a teen movie he called Captain Beefheart versus the Grunt People. This was the first reference to Van Vliet with his stage name. And the number of stories about where the name came from depends on how many people have asked him about it. In other words, he couldn't be counted on to recount actual events. He enrolled at Antelope Valley College as an art major, but didn't last. He took a job as a door-to-door salesman of vacuum cleaners. He once sold a vacuum cleaner to Aldous Huxley by assuring him that his product sucked. I am sure, you sir, that this product really sucks. Zappa asked him to sing in the style of Howlin' Wolf, and the captain did him one better. He learned to play harmonica. He began uncomfortable performing in this way and began doing it in local clubs. This is how the Magic Band began, and they signed with A&M for 2 singles, Diddy Wah Diddy by Bo Diddley and Moonchild, written by David Gates, who would later form the band Bread. When they presented demos that would become Safe as Milk, A&M said the songs were too negative and dropped them. Drummer John French was responsible for transcribing the captain's ideas, distilling them into the bulk of what would become Trout Mask Replica. I have heard this album 50 times or so, and after the 49th time it no longer seemed eccentric to me. That's what happens when you listen to Captain Beefheart. It starts making sense after a while. Here's Moonlight on Vermont. Moonlight on Vermont affected everybody, even Mrs. Wooten, well as little Nitty, even Lifebuoy floating with his little pistol shown and his little pistol totin'. Well, that goes to show that a moon can do no more bridge from Tuesday to Friday. Everybody's gone high society. Hope lost his head and got off on alligators. Somebody's leaving peanuts on the cupboards. For a white elephant escaped from the zoo with love goes to show what a moon can do. Give me that old-time religion. Don't give me no affection. That old-time religion is good enough for me, and it's good enough for you. So you see what I'm saying? It's interesting and understandable, right? If you kind of look at it a little more closely. People thought songs like this were all improvised, but this couldn't be further from the truth. The captain ran his studio with strict adherence that every note and every rhythm was exactly as he intended. For everything, he was completely serious. That's why it's all so good. The magic band at the time of Trout Mask Replica was Bill Harkler, Rode, and Jeff Cotton on guitar, Mark Boston on bass, Victor Hayden on bass, clarinet, and John French on drums. The captain played brass and woodwinds and sang lead, but there have been over 40 Magic Band members over the years. And Lennon and McCartney were great admirers. They would have signed him to Apple if Alan Klein had not intervened. Captain Beefheart was not a Beatle fan, he said. So, even if I wrote 10 times as much as I already have, I still wouldn't come close to describing this man's career. It is as lengthy as that of Bob Dylan, whom I also can never encapsulate. My show isn't big enough for these guys. You have to do your own research if you want to know more. It's not all wonderful. Some is horrendous. Sadly, he's a misunderstood genius. And that, my friends, is that.